Hello everyone and welcome to Crossroads Cartomancy. I'm Jack from the Celestial Coven and I'm here for another reading today. We're going to find out today what it is that you most need to balance. To do that, we're going to look at both sides of whatever it is you do need to balance and figure out how you can bring those things into balance in your own life. So, without further ado, feel free to pause the video at any time if you want to see which pile resonates most for you, and when you are ready, go down to one of the timestamps below and click on the one that resonates most for you. See you there. Hi there, Pile 1. For those of you who chose this purple and gold aura quartz crystal, I love aura quartz of all kinds, by the way, and this one is one of my favorites. For those of you who picked this is what you're going to need to know about what you need to balance in your life. So, without further ado, on one side, we have South Node, don't let your past hold you back. The Four of Swords, Hades, the Lord of Riches. You can't see it here, but at the bottom it says equanimity, wisdom, and inevitability. Okay, I'll slide that down so you can see a little bit. Okay. And the last card for this side of what you need to balance is Navigating by the Stars. Follow your bliss. Alright. So, on the other side of what you need to balance, and we're going to get these out before we start talking about them, so we can compare and contrast them. On this side we have the new moon. A new start is coming. Okay. Starting to make a little bit of sense now. For a tarot card, we have the Two of Chalices in reverse. Okay. For your Mausolea card, we have Morgan Le Fay, Witch of Ages, Atonement, Growth, Deceit. And for this card, we have your Passion and Pleasure, Savor Your Life. All right. So, what I'm seeing first of all is that there is something that is needing to be in balance between your desire to keep things as they were and your desire for new starts and new beginnings. So this is what you're mainly going to be needing to balance. What I'm seeing is that there's an energy of resting or needing to rest, or like wanting things to be at peace, and that's one of the reasons you might be trying to keep things as they were before. But in order for new starts to come in, we need to let go of the things from our past that don't serve us anymore. For some of you with this Two of Chalices, this had something to do with a relationship that ended. This is not all of you. This is just a few. If you had a relationship change or a relationship end, you might be wanting to continue doing things the way you were doing them while you were in that relationship, but and thinking that that's going to work the same for you in different situations, and it probably won't. But what I'm also getting though is that what you're needing to balance is also related to how active your mind and your heart are. I think you've been using your mind a lot. You have the swords and the chalices. You're using your mind a lot, and that might have been kind of, basically overriding your heart a little bit on certain things. So your heart may want some things, and your mind wants others. and both are very important, but of course it's about balancing. So you may need to balance out your thoughts and rationality and mental activity with emotional activities, and by emotional activities, what does that mean? Just like connecting with your emotions, maybe doing something creative or something that just makes you feel emotions that you like. But like in general, I think there needs to be some balance of that, because I'm getting that with this in reverse, there's some imbalance there. And this might also be with connections to others versus being alone. For some of you, you spend a lot of time alone and not connecting with other people that you care about. And for those people, it may be good to balance that with a little bit more time connecting with the people that you care about. But I am seeing that there is some resistance to change. And part of that, so on this side, it seems like there's a lot of, like, maybe tradition is involved for some of you, because, as a deity, the unseen one here is someone who is very strict but fair. They're someone that upholds tradition and law, in a lot of cases. So like this is someone who does it with wisdom, right? This is not somebody who's just going with what they were taught and not questioning anything. Like, they have wisdom in what they're doing. What I am getting though from this is that you may have a little bit more of a tendency to think about what is the most rational choice in your life than what is going to make you the most happy. And by rational, you might be thinking about what's going to have the greatest long-term impact on your happiness, but you might not be thinking about your happiness in the moment. Because with navigating by the stars, follow your bliss. Like, so we have somebody here who is using the stars to guide them. So they are following their hopes and their dreams and what they think will bring them happiness, like I know you're trying to do. But they're using something that is structured, and like they can tell their way by the stars because they know the motions of the stars. It's something that they've learned. It's so again, we're getting a lot of mental activity and like using your reason. Maybe some of you really like astrology. I'm getting that from navigating by the stars, because for those of you who really like astrology, you may be making a lot of decisions based on that without really considering your happiness as much. Like, you might be like, well, my horoscope says that I should do X and Y today, so I'm going to do that, even if that wasn't originally my plan. And this isn't really what I wanted to do. And so there may be some that put a little bit too much stock in that, though astrology is a wonderful tool to help us understand ourselves and help us, figure out how to approach different situations from our own way of doing them. It shouldn't be overriding, because it is general, like if you're, say, a Aquarius, and you not all of you are going to be any particular sign. This is just an example. But if you're an Aquarius and you think that, well, most Aquarius would do this in this situation, or it says that Aquarius will have a hard time at work today, or something like that. That's literally a 12th of the zodiac. Like, that's a lot of people. So like it's going to depend on a lot of intricacies and on your own experiences, like what's going to really make you happy. For those of you that you're not into astrology, so that doesn't resonate for you, there is a certain sense here that you are trying to follow your happiness, and that you are using what means you think you can at your disposal to do so. But maybe you're taking a little too heavy of a mental approach and not checking in enough with your emotions. Or savoring what you already have. Because see, these two cards contrast here. So there's clearly something that needs to be balanced here, and I think that you've been focused a lot right now, and this is what I'm getting strongly for a lot of you. You've been focused right now on the destination rather than the journey. And that's been a little out of balance. So if you find that you're stressed a lot, like you're anxious, like you don't know what's going to happen, so it worries you, this is a sign that you could be out of balance with this because yes, it's good to have dreams and to follow them and to try to achieve the things we want to achieve in life. But if we're doing that to the extent that we're not um, acknowledging the happiness and the joy that we're getting along the way, then that can be out of balance. So I think that it's worth taking into account how much you are following your own bliss, but to the sacrifice of your day-to-day happiness, or whether you are. And some of you may have the opposite situation because these are things that need to be balanced, but doesn't necessarily mean one or the other. So some of you, I'm getting that you have goals, but you're too busy focused on the journey to really have those goals set in stone. So some of you, it's the other way around, right? And those of you who are more in your emotions most of the time, you're probably going to have more going on this side that needs to be balanced with the stuff on this side. But I think for most of you, it's this other way around because this card is reversed and this one isn't. And we have here on this other side too, so Morgan Le Fay, the Witch of Ages, Atonement, Growth, Deceit. So there's a lot that, your mind and your emotions are difficult to understand if you're out of balance with them. And so it may seem like our feelings lie to us a lot, so we have difficulty listening to them because, and this might be an obstacle that you feel like is in your way if you're one of those people that is trying to rationally make decisions at the expense of your emotional well-being. It may be that you're worried that your emotions lie to you and that you won't be able to trust what they do or what they're trying to say. And, this is more about you have the ability to discern those things though. So I don't think you have anything to worry about because I think you can tell the difference. Like if your emotions are telling you a story, it's important to sit down with them and feel with them and just kind of like ask yourself, well, is the story my emotions telling me in line with my reality? And I think you're able to tell. And regardless of whether they are, they can give us very important information about who we are and what we need to be happy. Um, and so it's important to savor those everyday joys and those everyday emotions that we have to, is in addition to following our true happiness in where it leads us. So I think there needs to be a bit more balance of the parts of you that live in the moment. There needs to be a bit more living in the moment and a bit less living in the future. Because I see that there are new starts coming for you, obviously, here with the new moon, that could be taken advantage of if you are willing to kind of step out of your comfort zone. Because I get that your comfort zone is probably here, South Node, that you've probably been used to doing things this way. And so it's a little bit unnerving to try to balance this, but if you're able to, it will, letting go of that way of doing things, at least to the extent where it balances you out, will allow for these new beginnings to start in areas that you really want, whether it's new adventures or new romances or, new creative passions. But there are some things here that are only seeming out of reach because you think you have to get to them in this way. But if you stop and kind of enjoy, smell the roses, dance by the bonfire on a night when you're in the middle of your travels instead of just walking through the night in the cold. Obviously sometimes, you need to walk through the night in the cold if it comes down to it, but there always needs to be this balance. And so any amount of like, if you're like one of those people who are really busy too, like if you have like a job that are like 2 or 3 jobs, for a lot of us, that's the reality, especially here in the United States where I'm from. like if you have 2 or 3 jobs and like you're kept constantly busy and you're like, what do you mean I can't do any of this? I don't have time for that. But you know, even if you like on your drive home from work notice the beauty of the moon and just like think, oh wow, it's so cool that there's this moon that's so beautiful, that's encircling our planet all the time, and we get to look at that all the time. And just like little things like that will actually like reinvigorate the magic in your life and help to balance these things out. So I'm definitely getting that for you. I'm also getting that um, there's kind of a message here of not really sitting on your laurels. Like I know that, you know, I'm not trying to say that you're being lazy or anything, but like if you know that you have to make a decision, or if you know that you've been putting something off, um, yeah, this is a reminder from the spirits to really take note of that, because that is what might need to be balanced. Like you may, if you're one of those people that haven't had a break in a long time, then this is a little different. This is about for you having a bit of a break from all the um, structure that you've had, um, and allowing yourself to connect with this energy of passion and pleasure, and finding those things that really give you joy in life. Um, because you know there's a lot here about finding that joy and following that joy, but not forgetting to actually enjoy it when you succeed. Like you know, there's always this temptation, but there's more to search after, and yeah, that's true. But take time to enjoy the little things you can when you can. Um, and it'll definitely help balance out that energy in your life and help connect you more with your emotions and allow you to make both rational choices and informed emotional choices that will promote your happiness. Um, yeah, so that's mainly what I'm getting from your cards. What we're going to do is also we're going to do some charms for you today. And I actually not been able to find this charm set for a little while, but I actually recently was able to do so again. Um, we'll see if we can get some additional messages for you guys and go from there. Okay. So, clustered all together here, we have an eye, picture frame, shell, little yellow stone, an ankh, 12, so the number 12 may be important, a little magic book. The I always forget what these things are called. I think it's called a oh jeez, I'm going to hate myself for getting the name of this, because I used to sew, so I used to like know the name of this thing, but then like obviously, but like I just forgot what the name is while during this video. I don't know if that's relevant for you guys. And this piece of wood here, and off to the side we have this orange stone, which represents the sacral chakra. And it's interesting, this one, you know, of course rolls all the way over here, where the other ones stay kind of over here. And so I'm getting that, yeah, you're kind of distanced right now from your joy and your sense of pleasure in the world, and that's what really needs to be balanced right now. Because there's all this stuff on one side and your pleasure on the other, and you kind of separate everything else in your life from your pleasure. And I think that that needs to change, and that you need to reinvigorate the parts of your life that right now might seem boring and dull with the, you know, energy of pleasure and joy and celebration again. We have the shell. This represents the element of water. So again, this could have to do with emotions again, if we're talking about that, but additional messages could be that you might really find happiness near water, like you might think about living. Can I just focus a little bit? You see the shell? No? No? Doesn't want to? Woo! Okay. There it is. You might be happy living near water, maybe near an ocean or a natural lake or river. This also may be that for some of you, you might like to meditate near water or in water. You might need to take long baths or showers. So there is that. We have the picture frames. This is about, again, like memories and keeping memories. And, you know, if you are so focused on rushing towards your next goal that you don't take time to enjoy things, it will leave this kind of picture frame blank. You won't be able to remember as many of the good times if you don't take the time to actually enjoy them, and you'll think that a lot more has been bad than has actually been bad. We have the little yellow stone of holding, which was near it, so that kind of also thing. I call this the little yellow stone of holding because I used to date somebody who would put these things in my hands and not force literally, but playfully make me hold them. I did, they weren't actually making me do anything. I just thought it was fun. So they would just kind of like put these in my hands and tell me hold on to the little yellow stone, don't put it down. It was just kind of silly, weird couple shit, but so I refer to this charm as the little yellow stone of holding, and it reminds you to hold on to that which is most dear. So if you, if you are kind of leaving things by the wayside that might be actually important to you because you think you have to, chase after something more long term, this is a warning to hold on to those things and not like give up on the things that make you the most happy. This is also Yellowstone, so kind of relates to our solar plexus chakra and standing in our power and being authentic with ourselves. And so that's very important for you too, is consulting your your inner light. With this little piece of wood, which I have as representing the element of earth. This also tells me that grounding is very good for you. So if you do grounding meditations, or you hold certain crystals for grounding, or you just take deep breaths once in a while and like connect with yourself and the earth, that will be very helpful for you in connecting with what you need to balance things. It also, similar to, living near oceans, this could also, for some of you, be an indication that you might be happy in or near forests, or places with a lot of earthy natural beauty, like mountains. So that might be something to keep in mind. We also have this eye. So this is about awareness and paying attention and focus. So you need to be more aware of your inner landscape as well as your outer surroundings, and practicing mindfulness things like meditation or other practices that encourage attentiveness. Now that's hard for some people. Like some people have ADHD, and actually being attentive to any one thing for any length of time is difficult. For those that do, because I know ADHD, for example, is a interest-based attention condition. So if you, for example, can't meditate by just like focusing on your breath, maybe you can meditate by focusing on something that actually interests you and hyper focusing on that for whatever time is healthy for you, because that can actually get you into a meditative state as well. By the way, people don't often talk about that, but a flow state or a hyper focused state for some, because that induces a kind of flow state, can put us into a meditative state. So this thing that I can't remember the name of for the life of me, that is really bothering me, is symbolizes steady work. And so I think that for you to really get these things in balance, it's going to require sticking with it for a while. If you're the tendency to you may be wanting to balance these things or have been trying to for a while, but like you're like, oh, nothing's working. It might be that you just need to stick it out longer and keep going at the steadiness of the task, because you are building it up and you are sewing it together little by little. So we also have this petrified mushroom. So this symbolizes decay. So what I'm getting from this, because it's near this in the Ankh of life, which symbolizes life, obviously it's the Ankh of life, and breath. I'm getting that if you're feeling drained a lot, I'm getting, in your life energy and in your productiveness and perhaps even in your spirituality, or your ability to, learn things you want, things like that. Has some 12th house energy here, so yeah, maybe in your, spirituality or your sense of, being, but like, with, um, that, I think, again, introducing the fun aspects back into your day-to-day life will help to balance that and make you feel less drained. Meditation, again, also helps with that because it recenters our energy. Self-care, making sure we're eating as healthy as we can, making sure we are, keeping our hygiene up if we're able to, making sure we are, getting enough sleep, and if that is within our ability, obviously a lot of these things are privileges, but we do the best we can with the circumstances that we're in. But I think that, in your case, it's going to be that, if you don't take the steps that might be somewhat outside of your comfort zone to really learn to enjoy these things, again, like, you're gonna have a difficult time because you're going to feel pretty drained and, lifeless, even if you are, fully healthy in whatever other ways. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting for you for your charms. Pile 1. The last thing I want to do for you today is bring you a bonus arcane bullshit card for a fun, humorous kind of message to close out your reading with, because I like to leave everybody with a smile when I'm doing the readings for our channel. So I hope that this is interesting for you. The card you have from the arcane bullshit deck is a cat licking its own butt for eternity. Okay. So this message is about kind of like it fits in very well with the themes we've seen in your reading of keeping things the same and trying to repeat the same cycles because they're comfortable. And you can't lick your own butt forever, can you? Because eventually you're gonna need to do something else, because other things will demand you to do so. Like, if you're a cat licking your own butt for hours and hours, you're eventually gonna need to go drink water or, like, um, actually use the litter box, or, like, go eat real food that isn't your ass. you know? um, but, like, and for humans in this case, if you're in a situation where you're doing the same thing over and over all the time and you're not getting any closer to your happiness, then that's why. There is something nagging at you to change your life for the better so that you are enjoying life more. But you might be worried that if you stop licking your own butt, that, your butt's gonna get all dirty again immediately or something. I don't know. The metaphor for that is basically like you might be worried that if you stop doing what you're doing and try to do something differently, that, everything will fall apart. But it won't. And it's not like you have to never lick your own butt again. It's not like it's not like you have to do things entirely differently than you've been doing them. It's not like you have to abandon your rational ways of doing things if that's what you're used to. It just means that you have to balance that a bit more with your emotion and what you actually enjoy and what actually gives you that spark of happiness in your life and what allows you to grow. So, that is what I'm getting for you, Pile 1. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that this was helpful for you. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Hi there, Pile 2. If you chose the pile with the piece of bismuth here, this is your reading. So we're going to find out for you today. We're going to find out for you today what you need to balance at this time in your life whenever you are watching this video. So we're going to find out about one side and the other. We're going to get your cards out, and then we're going to compare and contrast them, and we're going to figure out how you can balance these things. We're going to then get some additional messages from your charms, and then we're going to leave you off with a humorous message from the Arcane Bullshit deck. So let's get started. First, we have, for one side of what you need to balance, you are good enough with the moon in Virgo. Beautiful. Some of you may be Virgos, you might not be. You might have Virgo placements. For your tarot card, for one side of what you need to balance, is the 8 of Coins in reverse. Okay, we're already getting a lot of earth here on this side. For your Mausolea card for this side, you have the Thinker, Father of Knowledge, Knowledge, Instruction, Reinvention. And for your Sacred Traveler Oracle for this side, you have Wondrous Universe, Walk in Beauty. Okay. And on the other side of what you need to balance, this is what you'll need to balance it with or against. New Moon in Aquarius, bring love into the situation. Okay, well that's pretty clear. We're going to have a pretty clear balance, it looks like, between practicality and love. But let's see a little bit more about that first. Your tarot card for this side is the 10 of Chalices in reverse. Interesting. So water energy and air. That means Aquarius is the water bearer, so though it isn't a water sign. Some of you may be Aquarius, maybe not, might have Aquarius placements. And for the Mausolea card for this side, we have Arthur, Champion of Avalon, Companionship, Nobility, Self-Realization. Okay. And for your Sacred Traveler Oracle for this side, we have Journey by Moonlight, Believe in Magic. Okay, so as I was kind of mentioning here, one of the main things that you're going to want to balance in your life right now is your work life and your romantic or relationships life. This might not be necessarily with romantic partners, but just your social and, compassionate side of yourself, expressing that amongst others is what I'm getting. And so for some, there's two camps here because both of these cards are in reverse. So I think for some of you, you have for all of you, you have more of one than the other going on, otherwise you wouldn't need to balance it. But what I'm getting here is that for some of you, you are working very hard, like working yourself to the bone. For some of you, you are constantly trying to do better at your career or trying to build your career, and you're constantly thinking about how you can achieve this kind of growth or achieve your ambitions. And, you put a lot of thought into these things, and you really spend a lot of your mental energy on your bag, on your material goods, but also on just building your kind of castle. I'm seeing, like, you want to live in a beautiful environment. You want to have a lot of nice things surrounding you. You want to be able to walk through your home and just feel joy at all the beautiful things you've collected and earned for yourself. Yeah, I'm getting some serious earth sign energy. A lot of the ones who are fitting into this camp are probably either earth signs or they have a lot of earth in their chart. But for those of you who fall into the other camp, right, there's another group of you who are spending a lot of time either seeking love or being amongst loved ones. Um, so these are for this group of people, you might be putting a lot of your emotional energy and a lot of your um, service into other people. So and for some of you, yeah, there's a lot of, you know, riding out on your horse and trying to conquer things so that you can, you know, attract the attention of, you know, your fair whatever genders you're interested in. Um, you know, you and for those of you who are in this camp, you might be spending a lot of your energy um, trying to rekindle something with someone else, something that you might miss with someone you used to be with. And it may be that you have a certain, you know, nostalgia or memory for something that was happy, but like you feel like that could have been a lot. Either it could have been your everything, but it was not. But that's for a small amount of you. For others, I'm seeing just that you really, really, for those of you that fall in this camp who is really focused on love and relationships and, this sort of magical idea of, you know, partnership and, you know, union, you know, you may be really stuck with this ideal vision of what your happiness looks like, and you think it is going to be brought to you by you finding um, that partner or partners if you're polyamorous, and by finding, you know, your ideal social situation or your ideal romances, or you're looking to bring love into your life in such a way, or make your current relationship or relationships work in such a way that'll bring that kind of magic of pastimes, you know, magic of companionship in a, you know, almost Arthurian legend sort of way, the sort of chivalrous, um, sweeping you off your feet sort of romance. So, regardless of which camp you're in, you're going to need to balance these things with a little of the other. So, for those of you who are in the camp where you are overworking yourselves and you have a lot of your energy put into material acquisition or business building or wealth building, you probably would benefit most from taking some time to develop interpersonal relationships. And this doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out and find a partner right now or something, but I would say to put yourself out there more and maybe engage in more just social things that you're doing just for fun and that just feel lighthearted and magical to you. Like if you are really into like certain aesthetics and that's what you're trying to create for yourself by like building this abundance, you might seek out an art venue or a theater or a park that has that kind of aesthetic, or anywhere that you feel like is beautiful, and like meet people there, or like if you put yourself out there and manage to get a date, like show your date a place that you think is beautiful. Show and I'm getting that you really will need to connect more with either the people you already love in your life, or the people that you want to love. And to just not focus so much on what it will bring to you materially. And, not that all of you are necessarily thinking about that consciously, but I'm getting that for those of you who are stuck over here, that there may be some resistance to giving because you think it'll put off your goals longer, or that it will, be unfair to you. But in reality, because what you'd be getting out of this is more emotional fulfillment, and balancing out your life in a way that'll feel harmonious and magical. You're not just giving for nothing. There is something you're getting out of it, and something that you're giving the other person too, that they get out of it, that will increase the amount of happiness and magic in the world just by you and those other people or that other person doing that. And I think that you are the kind of person, if you are in this camp, well, regardless, you are the kind of person who is very attractive to other people. I'm getting that you may have a very beautiful presence, or if you may shine, when you walk into a room, like people are like, wow, that person's impressive. And you may have a sort of like ethereal quality to you even. Um, if you are in this camp, if you're on the other side here, and you have been, desperately trying to find partners, or like you've been really trying to show how lovable you are, but you don't feel like people are recognizing that. And you've been, doing so much for other people, but maybe you've been bitten a lot and you haven't gotten the happy ending you wanted. What I'm getting for you guys is that to balance that, you'll need to um, focus more on your material pursuits. So focus more on your bag. For you that are on the other side of the camp, obviously you're going to need to do the opposite to balance it. So you're going to need to focus a little bit more on, getting, yourself stable in the ways that you want to be. Getting anything sorted out that may be, on the back burner, because, a lot of those things can come to bite us in the ass if we're not careful. Um, so that's something I'm getting for that. You're going to be able to find this partner or partners, or like the community you want, or the kind of emotional fulfillment that you want, not by continuing to put all your effort into that one thing, because what that does is it also removes a lot of your individuality and makes you more about your partner than yourself, and that's not something you want to get into, because that could be very unhealthy for us. So if you focus on your career and what your sense of beauty is, and what you want to build and bring into your life, and remind yourself that you are good enough by yourself. You don't need anyone else to make you good enough. That you can do and build whatever you set your mind to, and you can bring the kind of beauty you want to your life, regardless of whether you have other people to, assist you with that, or be, close to you on that kind of level. And in order to do this, though, it may require a little bit of sitting down and thinking about it for you. You may need to make some plans and like figure out how it will work in your life, because it may be a little different than what you're used to. Because you might be used to, taking things more in a, fly by the seat of your pants sort of way, because you have a very magical, free spirited energy that you just want to like go out there and like experience and do, but like you might not be making as many like preemptive thoughts as to that. So like this may require a bit of sitting down and thinking about it, but when you're thinking about it, like don't lose sight of that beauty that you're dreaming into existence with it, because that's something that is going to harmonize very well with where you already are, if you can turn these magical ideas into practical ways of going about it. Then you can actually accomplish a lot with that. But that's aside from the initial message there. So what I think I want to do for you now, pile 2, is get your charms so we can get some additional messages for you on this situation, how you can come into more balance with this part of your life. So okay. So many of you I'm seeing do practice magic, because we do have this crystal here, which I associate with magic. And we also have the magic book over here. Some of you are indeed magic practitioners of some kind or another. So some of these charms did come up in the other pile that I've done so far. For example, these two. So decay is what this represents here. This is a petrified mushroom, right? And this picture frame represents memories and holding on to things we've experienced. And so I'm getting that, there's a lot of missing the forests for the trees energy with that. Like, there's a need to look at the big picture, because focusing on all these little things to try to align them just right to make what to make this work in the way you've been doing it is draining you, when in reality it just takes a little rebalancing of these energies that we've talked about. Because if you are focused so much on one little thing, then you're missing the other side of what could be. And so we have the shell here as well. So this is also the element of water. So like check in with your emotions and, think about, how they're affected by your current state of being. And as you go about finding that balance for you, your feelings will really let you know, because right next to the fluorite here, so they give you insight, they give you knowledge. So if you listen to, not the story they're telling you, but like what it's doing in your body, then that will help you. This skull here that's rolling around, represents the ancestors and the honored dead. So if you do ancestor work, regardless if you do ancestor work or not, your ancestors are looking out for you in this. And I can tell that they are some of the ones coming to give you these messages through me here. So your ancestors really do want you to succeed and want you to be in balance in your life, and they want you to achieve everything that you set out for. So they're trying to bring that to you. Yeah, we have the, eternal balance here as well. So yeah, there might be, actually 3 aspects to what you need to balance in this as well. This might mean, like, I'm getting that there is, your bag, your love life, and from any of your spirituality as well. Because some of you also, this side of things may also relate to your spirituality and spending a lot of time either not in spiritual practice when you want to be, or the other way around. So that might also be something to look at. The hedgehog here is about protection. So you are protected, especially by your ancestors, is a message I'm getting from this. Additionally, I might look into some of you, for those of you who are focused a lot on love right now, or who are maybe exploring, relationships or what have you in any capacity. If you're not looking to have children and you're not on birth control, I would be very careful with your protection methods, because that's important. But also if you, have... This is also kind of a confirmation that if you were thinking about any means of protection, like say you've been moving up in your business and you have more wealth than you used to, you might look into better home defense. If you have been focusing a lot on your romantic life or your social life or your spiritual life, you might want to look into spiritual protection, or perhaps just be careful about not everybody can be trusted. So just, use your intuition and your best senses about that. So we also have the fox. So the fox is about cleverness, sometimes trickery, wisdom, and we have, so you have a lot of that going for you. You are definitely a clever person, and a creative person, that can really, in the sense that you can come up with interesting ways of doing things or interesting solutions to problems that people wouldn't have thought of. And you also kind of have a lot about you that wouldn't be obvious on the surface, um, to many. And I think the message I'm mainly getting from this is that if you are worried that you're, not smart enough to build your business, or you're not smart enough to get the partners you want or something, you're definitely smart enough. You're a very clever person. So don't worry about that. You are smart enough to do anything you put your mind to. Now we also have this red stone that represents the root chakra. So for many of you, a lot of this imbalance may lie in the root chakra, which is about our sense of security, safety, survival, instinct, those sorts of things. When you're, like your drives to eat food and sleep and things like that, and I think that for you, self-care is going to be important regardless of which camp you're in. You need to be able to take good care of your own body and your own health as best as you are able to within your means, because that is going to help bring balance to any part of your life. But if you've been focusing on these things, one thing you have not been focusing on is yourself and your own health. And that is very important if you want to be able to have a good foundation, because the root chakra is the foundation for the other things you're trying to build out of that and grow out of that, right? I think, the seed is in our root chakra, and that grows through the rest of our chakras as we develop. So, you definitely could do well to also do any kind of energy work if you do that to help balance your root chakra. Some of you may also be struggling with not feeling like safe or secure, and that's why you've been focusing on one of these things far more than the other. But a more well-rounded approach to these things that kind of balances these out will actually give you a more sturdy foundation. Something with two legs is more sturdy than something with one. So just keep that in mind. That is what I'm getting for your charms pile 2. What I do want to pull for you is one last card from the Arcane Bullshit deck to leave you with a humorous message that's pretty fun from the spirits before we go today. So what we have for you, pile 2, is Saxophone Fetus. I can never keep a straight face when I do these ones. Saxophone Fetus is someone who is very much not in a position to be doing what they're doing. Not that you shouldn't, but like you need to grow first before you can play the saxophone. You can't play the saxophone as well as an adult if you are a fetus. You're going to need to grow first. And I think that if you were expecting of yourself to have everything you want right now, or like to have everything, in order right away, or to like know how to do everything right away, I think that that is kind of getting in your way. Like you're thinking, well, I should, maybe I'm 35. Why am I not married yet? Or, hey, I've been working on this business for like 5 years. Why hasn't it taken off? Or and all these things. But it's because there's growth that needs to happen, and that this growth can probably happen. That this growth can happen more as you come more into balance with these parts of yourself. And as you grow, you'll become more aware of when you are ready to do certain things and ready for the next steps of your journey, when the ones you're presently on feel too easy. That's when you know you're ready for the next step, because we are always growing and changing. But right now, things I'm getting do not feel easy for you. And so there might be a need to take a step back and allow yourself to grow before you take on so much for yourself. So that is what I'm getting for you, pile 2. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I hope that this reading was helpful for you. Until next time. Hi there, Pile 3. For those of you who chose the Pyrite Crystal, this is your reading. So, we're going to find out for you today what you need to have in balance or to get into balance in your own life. We're going to look at one side and the other with the cards to figure out what two elements of your life you need to be balanced. And then we're going to get out some charms for you to get some additional messages and leave things off with an arcane bullshit card for a fun, silly message to close things off and leave you with a smile. So, let's get started. On one side, one of the energies that'll need to be balanced. Full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. For your tarot card for this side, we have the Page of Coins. For your Mausolea card for this side, we have Hathor, Mistress of Harmony, Mediation, Communication, and Culture. Hathor is a beautiful goddess. If you work with Hathor, this is more confirmation for you. If you have not worked with Hathor, then this may be a sign she might be reaching out to you. If you do not do deity work, then take this as a symbol of the side of the energy for you. The last card for this side from the Sacred Traveler Oracle is the Gates of Triumph. Success expands in your life. Okay. So, see if we can boot. Okay. And then for the other side, the other part of the energy that needs to be balanced with this one, we have the waning moon. What do you need to release? For your tarot card for this side, we have the star in reverse. For your Mausolea card for this side, we have Abaddon, Overlord of the Abyss, Pestilence, Corruption, Malice. Interesting. Now, don't take this as necessarily literally these things, but we'll get into what this is actually talking about in a little bit. And the last card for this side from the Sacred Traveler Oracle is Ascending the Mountain. Keep going forward. All right. So, what I am noticing here is that there seems to be a disharmony between your desire to take on a new venture or learn something new, or enter a new enterprise, maybe start a new business or start a new job. There's something disconnecting that with your sense of hope for the future. Like maybe you feel like whatever this new thing you're getting into is, maybe this is a new hobby for some of you with the Page of Coins, but whatever you're getting into that you feel kind of inexperienced at, you may be feeling right now like not much hope for that. There's some motorcycles outside, please excuse. You may be feeling like there is, not much hope for that for some reason. And I'm getting from this mainly, right, that whatever this is, it's something to do with how you perceive yourself. Like, you probably perceive yourself as not good enough to do the thing or not experienced enough to do the thing. And you don't think you're capable of making it that far. But in reality, that is, a lot of people don't think of it this way, but that is your pride getting in the way. And the reason for that, because, a lot of people hear that and think, well, how could it be my pride if I feel so bad about myself, right? Like, I feel like crap about myself, so what do you mean pride, right? But, our pride isn't just when we feel confident, although, it can be. Our pride is also when we have a certain vision of ourselves that we are not willing to release, that is getting in our way. Because being stuck in one's pride, and letting it get in the way, is when we are attached to who we think we are, and we're too stubborn to let go of that. Because we have Leo here, which is a fixed sign. Some of you may be Leos, you might not be. Some of you may be have Leo strongly in your chart, or have other fire signs strongly in your chart. Fixed signs, definitely for a lot of you. Taurus, Leo, and I believe Aquarius, and the water one is Scorpio, I believe. But in any case, right? You are I'm getting stuck on this kind of image of yourself as unworthy of the goals that you may be kind of excited about right now. Like, you have this coin in your hand, you're looking at this idea, or this venture, business, job, project, hobby, and you're like, oh, this would be so cool. Wouldn't it be awesome if I could grow this and make it even more cool, and build this into something that could be beautiful. Like, it would be amazing. And that's, the part of your ego that is helpful for you, the part where it's like, this is who I am, this is what I really want, this is what makes me powerful. And you see this, you have this little token of it, like, you can go towards it, but you feel like, there's not enough hope. Like, you don't, like, when the stars upright, it's about our hope for the future and our ability to see how we can build things back up again from nothing, because this is right after the tower in the tarot, and so it's about rebuilding and, like, putting things back together in a different way than they were before, because you have this hope and inspiration. And I think that in reverse here, it feels like, you're feeling right now like, you don't have the opportunity to do that, or like it's hopeless. But that's something that needs to be released, in order for you to rebalance these energies. And I'm getting that the energies that you're specifically needing to balance are your visions for your future and what you deserve deep down, with your pride. So you need to you're too heavy on the pride right now, and not as heavy on the exploration and acceptance of the path that you want to be on. I think for you, you see this path ahead that you're starting with a page of coins as this long journey, and you're so worried that it's going to be so long that eventually you're going to give up, or that it's not going to be worth going, or that you'll change your mind. But you can keep going forward if you choose to. And I think that if you can release this idea of yourself as not being worthy, or not being skilled enough, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself about yourself that's attached to your pride, that's not, helping you, that will make the journey more enjoyable in and of itself, and you won't have to struggle up the mountain. You'll be just looking at this beautiful view and enjoying the walk. And I think that, the way is open for great success in your life. Like, you have the potential to succeed in whatever this endeavor is. You are more than capable of bringing the abundance and beauty to pass that you're seeking. And it's really just a matter of getting started and getting going. And I think that you might get stuck a lot at the starting point. Like you might be the person that sits in front of a blank canvas or a blank page if you're a writer, or a proposal if you're starting a business. You might be staring at the open door, and you can see that it's going to be such a long journey. And instead of, because of the way that you see yourself, because of the feeling of hopelessness in yourself, is the only reason that you are looking at this with concern, or in some cases fear. And if you can release that, that will be helpful for you. Now, I know, easier said than done, right? A lot of us do struggle with this in the long term and really have a hard time being kind to ourselves and believing that we can be capable of things like this, and so I'm getting that some of the answers lie here. We haven't really talked about these yet. So on one side, we have, a figure who is very connected to others and who is, because mediation, communication, culture, these are all about our connections with other people and our place within a collective. And on the other side, Abaddon, Lord of the Abyss, as they're represented here, is someone who is not really abiding beside other people. This is somebody who, not necessarily being a being of pestilence, corruption, and malice, right? This may be that you are, for those of you who are stuck on this side of the energy here, like you may have some balance that needs to be done between people pleasing and being seen as not how you want to be seen. So like you may be concerned that if you don't behave in a certain way, or behave as part of the collective in a certain way, that you would be treated as a monster or as a draining, corrupt, horrible person. But you are not those things. And I think that there is a balance that needs to happen between that, because for some of you it's on the other side, like you're very attached to how counterculture you are. For some of you, it's very like, oh, I want to do this thing, but it would be too in line with the power structures that be and what they want, and that makes me feel, like gross, or like, but I really would enjoy this thing, and and in that case, if that's you, I would say to try to do this thing that you really do enjoy in a way that supports that counterculture nature that you enjoy. Like, give hope to yourself in that. You can do a blend of these things. It's about balance, not getting rid of one or the other. So if you're one of the people that is very attached to your counterculture nature, then that is what you need to do for that. If you are one of the people that is more of a people pleaser, who has been doing things in such a way that is in support of everything society expects you to do, like, you went to college when people said you got the job, maybe you even got married and had 2.5 kids and a white picket fence, but that might not be all of you, obviously. But the point is that for some of you who are on this side of the camp, might be the types who are used to doing things in a way that pleases other people, and you're worried that if you do things in a way that might not please the people around you, that they will view you in this really negative light. And that is also your pride getting in the way, right? Like, how people view you, I'm getting, is also a part of this. Like, for some of you, you may worry that if you take on this new idea or new project that you have in mind, that you'll be leaving behind the way people saw you before, and that's scary. But I think that ultimately, the sooner that you go through those gates anyway and just kind of do those things and build those things, give yourself permission. You don't need anyone else's permission. And if you think you do, that is something you need to release. And a lot of these things um, are things that are going to happen no matter what you choose, right? Like people criticizing you, or people thinking that you suck, or people thinking that you're awesome. All of these things are things that people are going to think from different sides of the fence, no matter which choices you make. So you might as well make the choices that make you the most happy. And you might as well pursue those things, even if you don't feel experienced at them yet, and it's going to take a while to get that experience. If you know that it's going to be worth it and it's really going to make you happy, then release your, accusation of yourself that you're not good enough, or that you're not going to be able to stick it out. Like, release that and just go through the door. Like, I know, but it's hard, but I have this, but I have that. I have, plenty of handicaps myself, as do a lot of us. And this isn't saying that yours are not valid and that there aren't some things that make things much more difficult than they are for most people. Take things one step at a time. Break them down into chunks that are sizable for what you can handle. And whatever amount of progress you can make towards your goals, no amount is better than another, because eventually the goal is the same. And so, if getting out that door and starting this journey is just saying to yourself, I'm going to try to be nicer to myself. Like, even if that's the first thing you need to do. Like, even if the first thing you need to do is just sit for a bit and think about it. Even if the first thing, whatever it is for you, however much you can handle at any given time is how much you can handle. And there's nothing wrong with whatever amount that is for you, because the journey itself is going to be beautiful. And if you have the attitude towards yourself that you are on the right path, you know what you're doing, and that, even if you don't have all the answers right away, that you'll get them, then you will enjoy that journey a lot more. And other people's opinions will come and go. And the people whose opinions, are against what you want to do, let them fall by the wayside. Only those whose opinions you actually care about can come with you on your journey. Those that support it and want to help you succeed. But anyone who is going to judge you for doing things differently than you've done them before, they don't deserve you. They don't deserve to be around you. And you acknowledging that you're worthy and that you are capable and that you deserve these better things will help you filter out those people who would bring you down as well. And I know that is not an immediate thing. So I know that, for many, it's just going to be a step-by-step process. But you can do this. Don't let anyone tell you different. So the next thing we're going to do for you here is we're going to get you some charms for some of additional messages. And then we're going to get your hilarious arcane bullshit. So, for your charms. Ooh, a lot of zodiac ones. Alright. So, Leo again. So a lot of you may be Leos, and again, this has a lot to do with pride. Leo, Virgo, Cancer, these are actually in a line with each other in the zodiac. Cancer is right before Leo, is right before Virgo. So I'm getting a sense of a journey here. Yeah, connecting. So you've gone through a period in your past where you were trying to connect more with your emotions. You may have had a lot of emotional times. Some home changes may have happened in the recent past. Right now, it's just a matter of figuring out who you are and what you want and your real direction with things, Leo. And trying to find the healthy balance of pride and service, which with Virgo. So, like, as you go and try to balance these things and try to release these things that aren't serving you, you will be able to be more healthy and in service to yourself and others. And that is coming for you in the near future. For many of you, this is also, if you are one of these signs, this is additional confirmation, though you don't have to be. We have foolish mortals. So it may be, for many of you, like, you might have this attitude towards some other people, or perhaps towards yourself, for those of you who are down on yourselves a lot. Of, you know, most people are dumb, or like, you know, people won't appreciate what you're bringing into the world. But I don't think that's, I think that's part of the you know, the pride is telling you it doesn't need to be there. You do have the key. You do have this key, so this means that the answer is either already with you or is coming soon to your situation and to balancing this properly. So if you're really stuck, right, you came to this reading probably because you were kind of stuck and you didn't know how to unlock this door, right? Like, we have this door still here, and I think it's kind of interesting. We have a key in the door. So but the door didn't need to be unlocked. It was already open, right? So that was the real answer, is that, like, you just have to give yourself permission and step out of this energy of thinking you're not good enough to do it. Because the sooner you just release that, and like the sooner you release that, the sooner you can step through that door. And, you know, you can even start stepping through that door before it's fully released, because the burden will be less and less overall. We have Aquarius, which is interesting since we also have the Star, which is the card for Aquarius. So you do things in a way that is very unique, and maybe that's one of the things that you're conflicted about. Like, the thing that you have in mind, or the projects you're considering starting, are not necessarily things that have been done before. Maybe they haven't been done in the way that you do them. But doing them that way really gives you joy. You have the Sun here again. Sun rules Leo. So again, more Leo energy and more energy of pride, and the solar plexus is probably very important for you to balance. So if you have an overactive or a blocked solar plexus, I would look into healing that if you do chakra work. But it's mainly about getting into balance your sense of self and, you know, your self-worth. So this represents a sort of holy threes in a sense. So for some of you, there may be three aspects to what needs to be balanced here. So for some, it is, you know, you need to balance your pride with your you know, visions for yourself, but also with your relations to how other people see those visions. So that's important. We have this blue stone. This dark blue stone represents the third eye, because, indigo is a weird color. Like, it's indigo just always is just dark bluish purple to me anyway. But so this represents your third eye chakra. So if you work with your vision, more like we were talking about visions, and I think balancing your third eye as well as your solar plexus will help you balance your vision with your ego. In addition to the chakra work, I would say to meditate on your visions for yourself as well more often. Like, sit and, even if you don't meditate, I would sit and like brainstorm about these ideas, because that'll also give you some more inspiration. That'll help you on your path, and also it'll give you energy and hope for that too. If you can see more of that by daydreaming about it, and um, allowing visions of the success you seek with it to enter your mind, and like the journey to get there too. With this hedgehog here, it's about protection. So obviously you don't want to go into anything blind. So if you haven't walked out and started to, well, I don't mean necessarily walk out. Like, I wouldn't say like necessarily leave a job unless you have backup, which might be part of this. Like, if some of you are considering leaving a job for another job, or leaving a job because you're hoping to build a business, just make sure you have backup plans, and make sure you have your things protected in what ways you can, or at least as many protection guarantees for your path, so that if little trip ups happen here and there, you can handle them without giving up on your goals, because that's important. You don't want to give up. You want to keep going at your steady pace and just stay safe. So that's what I'm getting for your charms pile 3. What I am going to do for you now is pull your last card, which will be the card from the Arcane Bullshit deck, for a little humorous message for you before we go. And for this, we have Horse Death. So there are 3 different deaths in this deck, and when I see this one, it has kind of strong Mari vibes. I don't know if any of you have a tradition that involves the Mari, especially during Samhain. But not all of you will. But there are many different not horse deaths. There are many different deaths in the Arcane Bullshit deck. Horse death is one of them. So horses, a lot of the times in these readings, are symbolizing motion, and it seems here that there's a sense that motion has stopped. There's a penguin in the way, and the horse is on its rear, and it's dead, right? It's horse death. So there's a sense that you're not taking action because of something being in the way. And this something I'm getting is, this could potentially be family for some of you. For others, it's the environment in which you live. And for some, it is I'm just getting a lot of it as other people. Like, whether you want to please other people, or whether you want to contrast against other people, there's some other people being in the way energy. But you see how the horse is much bigger than the penguin? Your passion and your spirit and your dedication to the things that make you happy are going to be much stronger than the opinions of other people. And I can see the spoon here. It keeps grabbing my attention. And so I think that, a spoon we use to eat food and soup and things like that. Food and soup. Soup is food, I think. But we use a soup to nourish ourselves. We use a spoon to eat soup, which nourishes us. Geez, putting the cart before the horse. Anyway, I'll see myself out shortly. The spoon here is being ignored. What would really nourish you is right there behind you, that you haven't really been paying attention to because you've been too focused on dealing with this that you don't need to deal with. You could just turn around and not pay attention to these other people at all and just take what nourishes you and not be a dead horse or beat a dead horse. So that is what I have for you, Pile 3, and I hope that this reading was helpful for you, and I hope that you had a good time listening to it, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great night. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for today's reading. I hope that you have all gotten something helpful from this and that you know now how to go about balancing your life. I look forward to seeing you next time, and I hope that you have an excellent night until then. Bye-bye.